Subscribe to Mystic Studio Productions and press the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a video.
In our previous video, we have already discussed about the four major prototypes of the people living in four defined areas of our Earth, categorized into the continents. We discussed that the Middle Eastern guys and the African guys, they are principally concerned with enjoying the physical comforts of life. The Europeans and the Americans principally concerned with business, and the Chinese and the Japanese, that is all over the Far Eastern guys, they are principally concerned with earning name and fame and having a huge sense of self-respect, I should say, more than other peoples of these other categories. And lastly, Indians and its eastern neighbor were principally concerned with spirituality. But does that mean that this one particular group of people, they're only concerned about only that thing, that is the African people or the Middle Eastern people? Are they concerned only with physical comfort enjoyments, and they understand nothing about business or earning name and fame? They don't care about their fame, or they don't know about anything about spirituality? Or the Europeans, do they only know business and nothing else? Similarly, the Chinese, do they only are concerned only about their name and fame and their self-respect, and they know nothing about business, or then they don't enjoy life? Is it like that? Or are all Indian guys and its eastern countries, are all they spiritual? Are every Indian is spiritual? It does not happen like that. So, but we had categorized it like this, but still in a practicality we see it's not totally like it. There's a, that's a rough division, but practically we see many Indians are good businessmen. In fact, we have Tata, we have Birla, and many other corporate sectors there, and many Chinese guys, they have spirituality in them. Many Africans, they do good business. Again, many Europeans and Americans, they're concerned about martial arts, and they have certain sense of self-respect, maybe. There are variations. So how does this occur practically? Today in this video we shall discuss and demystify it. I'm Shomik and you're watching Mystic Studio Productions by Mystic Journey Means. Suppose there are four containers, one containing earth, suppose soil, rather we should say, another container containing water, another containing fire, and another containing air. Now let's say we make a clash between these things. Suppose there is mud and there is water. So if we mix them, whether the mixture will be more watery or it will be more muddy, or rather it will be more earthy, it will depend upon the quantity of the earth and the quantity of the water. If the water is more, it will make it more muddy. So the nature of the water will be dominant over the nature of the earth. But if the earth is more and the water is less, then the power of the earth will be overpowering that of the water. So the mixture will not be that watery. Similarly, if there is clash between the water and the fire, it will depend that whether the water will extinguish the fire or the fire will evaporate the water. Similarly, that will fire and air, whether the air will be able to extinguish the fire or not. It depends upon the quantity and also the power of these particular things. Similarly, when we say that these four categories of the peoples, one concerned with enjoying the physical comforts of life, principally concerned with working, physical working, putting labor, etc. The other group with business mentality. Another group with concerning with name and fame, and another with spirituality. So among them, which particular mentality will overpower the other? That particular mentality will rule the world. So today we see that whether we accept it or not, it is a fact that the business mentality is ruling our world. The European and Americans, they are the principal power source of today's days, whether we accept it or we don't accept it. But it is. But if we see, go back to history, we can understand that this particular European research occurred during Renaissance period. Renaissance during around, I think, 1400 or 1700 AD, that particular period. Now we are in 2018 now, so 1400 means 600 years back. Yeah, during that time, or 1800, 1700 probably around. I'm forgetting the exact, but during that time the Renaissance occurred, and various scientists discovered various things. That certain intellectual surge it appeared. So from then gradually this business mentality, the gradual business grew. But before that, it was totally rural and feudal system. Feudal system was everywhere. So, and that particular system, if you see, then the Middle Easterns, yeah, the Middle Easterns were the rulers. We know about the Persian empires. The Persian empire was huge. Like Xerxes, Darius, and various other kings of the Middle East. They were in power before the Europeans. The power of the Europeans came, and there was actually a clash between the Crusades. We know that the clash between the Christians and the Muslims. Because I don't want to bring in religion, but if you see carefully, the Europeans and the Americans, they're principally of the Christian religion, and the Middle Easterns and the Africans, they're principally concerned or in the Muslim category. So there was a clash between the Christians and the Muslims before the Muslim or the Islamic world was dominant over our earth. Everywhere, the Islamists, the Islam religion, they captured everywhere. Africa, India, the many parts of the Far East, not total, but it conquered. And in today's days also, Islam is one of the most biggest religion. Yeah. And Christianity spread later on. Yeah. So there was a clash. That mentality of the Middle East and the African people, that used to rule before that business mentality came. So after this business mentality, maybe the next mentality, that is the power of the Chinese, or that of the power of the Far East will come, and maybe after that the power of the Indians. That spiritual mentality will come, because it varies with time, and that particular mentality, which is dominant, which has power, will conquer. Because one thing is for sure, that he who has power controls everything. So before the Middle Eastern and the Africans, in Africa, in case of Africans, we also know that Egyptian civilization, it had a major impact. Egypt is in Africa, we all know. So those Egyptians, or rather the Africans and the Middle Easterns, they were in power. That is the urge of physical enjoyment and putting labor, physical labor. That particular mentality was in power. And during that time, the spirituality, name and fame, business, this were there. It was not absent, but it were not that powerful. So that particular mentality of enjoying the physical comforts of life, people are more concerned with food and sex and everything. So, and the civilization, we can see, it was rural civilization. Yeah. Then the urban civilization didn't come. So that thing was in power. So it overpowered all the other three mentalities. Now the business power has come, and this business power is now overpowering also the physical enjoyments, and also that are earning of self-respect, or rather name and fame, martial arts, etc. And spirituality. The spirituality and earning name and fame, they have not grown that much, so they can't now overpower these things. But business mentality has overpowered, and it has also overpowered the physical comfort. So we can see that gradually the urban civilization has grasped all over the world. And if you notice carefully, that the urban peoples, they're principally concerned with intellect, and are not as much concerned with enjoying the physical comforts. They're concerned with enjoying physical comforts, and yeah, they're concerned, but still they're not as much. They don't enjoy as much as the rural peoples do. If you see, previously people used to have lots of children. Yeah, that is from that particular culture. In one family there used to be like 5 or 6 children, but nowadays you see, in one family there's only 2 child, or maximum 3, like this. So and people are more concerned with working. Working is very important. Education, it has come, it has emerged. Education is of course intellect. Business, it has grown, because that particular mentality is growing. And nowadays, in today's days, the Europeans are ruling the world. Yeah, Europeans, Americans, they're in power. and other countries are not as much powerful as they are. It's because of that particular mentality. And when will this mentality take power? Whether it will the physical comforts, enjoying the physical comforts, or it will be business, or it will be martial arts, or that is earning name and fame, and or it will be spirituality. This depends upon the time. We won't discuss it today, but there's a cycle of time, and it depends on the planetary positions and the disposition of the sun with respect to the outer cosmos. So there's a cycle of time, and there are 4 eras, and these 4 eras, or these 4 major times, are concerned principally with spirituality, earning name and fame, business, and lastly enjoying the physical comforts of life. So it works in a cyclical way. I'm not going to discuss it today in this video, which I'll discuss it in another video. But it is just to say that with time there occurs this change in the mentality, and this change in mentality, we have already discussed that it is the life force which determines how the mind works, and it is the mind which determines how the body works. So there with time, as time passes by, there's a change in the nature of the life force, and due to the change in the nature of the life force, there also occurs the change in the mentality of the peoples, and a particular mentality in a particular time grows strong than the other. That's why we know that history is always sinusoidal, is going up and falling down. Power is not ever permanent. Today one has power, someday another will have power, and the next day some other people will get power. But principally these 4 major mentalities there, and we have also discussed in our previous video. I will give the links here in this place. In YouTube you can see the link. In Facebook I will just write the link up here. But if you go to YouTube, you will see the link will be given here. You can click on those videos. Those will be helpful to understand, especially the life force, the bit of the life force, and also the previous videos where we have categorized these 4 major populations. If you have not seen that, you won't be able to understand it, what I'm saying now. So yeah, and so there was the change in life force, and we have discussed there that in the Middle Eastern and the Africans, the life force is principally concentrated in the perineum and the sacral region, that is the lowermost, perineum, and the sacrum region, or sacral vertebra. In there the life force is principally concerned, and the chakra which is associated with this is the Muladhara and the Swadhisthana chakra. In case of the business peoples, the energy is principally concerned in the lower guts region, that is a small intestinal region, and it is concerned with the Swadhisthana chakra, and also the part of the Manipuraka chakra. Yeah. And in case of the Far Eastern, that is the Chinese and the Japanese, Koreans, etc., in them the life force is principally concentrated on the Manipuraka and the Anahata chakra. And in Indians and its eastern neighbors, the energy is principally concerned in throat, and there is the Vishuddhi, Agna. So we had already discussed it there. As I told, I have given only the link. You can see there previously. You will understand it better. Yeah. And so with time, that particular energy, with the cycle of the time, that particular energy gets dominant in a particular part of the body in a particular time period. So in that particular time, suppose now is the time of the business people, so the energy is principally concentrated in the lower abdominal region, lower guts region. Yeah. And previously it was in the perineum and the sacral region. That is when the Middle Eastern guys used to rule. And it is due to the time cycle, that when the planetary positions will be like that, then the life force or the life energy will get like that, get oriented in that particular way. So there's the cycle of rising and falling down. So now is in a phase of ascendance. Again, this rising up and falling down, this cyclical motion of the time goes on. We'll be discussing about time in our upcoming videos. You will be able to understand that much better. So whenever I see that now all Indians, if you see, they are not spiritual. They have many of them are nowadays most are concerned with business, because that business power is in dominance. So even if there is a inherited spirituality, Indian guys, they are very much polite, and you will be easily able to distinguish an Indian guy from any other guys. Similarly, you will be able to distinguish the Chinese, the Europeans. They have their own characteristics. Indians are principally concerned with spirituality, but the spirituality is not in power. Now people are mainly following who is in power. Everybody follows them. This is the fundamental rule. Who is in power, everybody will follow them. So America is in power, so people are principally following them because there is no one else to follow. There is nobody that much spiritual with that much spiritual potential that he's in power. He can defeat this business mentality. He can't. So people does not follow spirituality. Though there is an inherited tendency of spirituality. Wherever you see people in India, they will always worship. Everybody has a temple in their house. They will, wherever you see, they will just create a god, and they will see some stone, and if they see that it's like an elephant, they will give the name of Ganesha or something like that. They are very much spiritual in nature, but still, people are following the Americans and Europeans, so they are getting concerned with their culture. Similarly, if you see the Chinese, they are principally concerned with name and fame. They have a deep sense of self-respect, a huge heart they have, but nowadays they are getting oriented towards the business mentality. They're doing business and they're doing much better, yeah, because their martial arts and their self-respect, earning name and fame, it's of a different dimension though, but it can't overpower that power of business. Business is in the ruling power, and even the Middle Eastern guys, they're also following it. So you can see a change everywhere you go. There is a change from the rural culture or the rural civilization towards the urban civilization. But when time will come, it will also change. This urban civilization will go to somewhat another extent. It will be much up higher level, because you can see the urban civilization is much higher than rural civilization. That is the Middle East and the Far Eastern guys. From them, the business urban civilization is much more powerful. It's much more technologically advanced, and newer technologies are coming. So when time is flowing upwards, life will change. There will be superpowers or something. There will be amazing things occurring. I'm not going to tell that. If I tell that, I will think that I'm mad. But yeah. And when power of spirituality is different. Nowadays there's nobody. So these powers are missing. Yeah, they really can be superpowers. Like, leave it. I'm not going to say it. So it's how it works. There is majority people are now oriented towards business. Before, when the Middle Easterns were in rule, it was agricultural economy. So people are principally concerned with agriculture, harvesting, etc. But with time, as the time of the Chinese people and the Far Eastern peoples will come, people will be concerned more about martial arts, controlling the strength and valor and courage. Yeah, and when time of the Indians and Eastern Empire will come, it will come one day. Then the spirituality, meditation, yoga, etc. It will surge. So that's for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I think you understood why it's not like the same, like all Indians are spiritual, nobody does business or nobody is concerned about with the respect of name and fame, and no Indians enjoy physical comforts. It's not like that. Same for Chinese and Europeans and the Middle Eastern peoples. So that was it. I hope you are able to understand it. So we will be discussing probably about the cycle of time, how it varies, which is related to this video in our upcoming videos. So keep watching Mystic Studio Productions. To like, share and subscribe it with your friends and family. It really helps a lot. So subscribe our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.